Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a very special episode of The Weigh-In. And we're titling this episode The Magics in the Music. And I think that's a Gwen Stefani title when she was with No Doubt. But yo.
Yeah, man, you're absolutely right. I mean, you know, in case you folks don't know about it, we listen to tunes in between some of our takes and things. And it's pretty spiritual for us.
It's definitely spiritual. I'm glad we're on the same.
We really are.
wavelength.
I mean, it's all about love. I mean, love is the answer. That's the Todd Rundgren song I wanted to play. Love is the answer.
Well,
We'll play
who's
that. Todd Rundgren.
Okay.
We'll play that again.
Okay.
He was like Hall & Oates. The music was in him. You know, I got the music in me. What was that song?
Yeah. So let me earmark this with the '80s since I was born in '79.
Oh, I love to hear it, man.
We're like, what were your thoughts on the music scene in the '80s?
Well,
Hit me, bro.
Okay, here's the thing, man. I've always been a pop fan growing up. You know, I loved AM radio. I listened to WYSL. And all those different. Kevin O'Connell, who was on Channel 2 there doing the weather for like 35 years.
Yeah.
He was a DJ when I was a young kid. I'm talking early 70s. You know, Three Dog Night and. You know, I can't even begin. You know, what's his name? Superfly. When I was,
yeah.
Smokey Robinson and the Miracles, and I can go on and on. But what happened is this thing called like punk rock came out. You know, in the mid '70s to late '70s, and it kind of took over the airwaves. It changed the whole scene. But deep inside,
did punk rock kill disco?
It put a pressure on disco. Disco got really big. It came out right after, you know, almost as if it was a counterintuitive plan to thwart the rock and roll.
Okay.
Because the punk rock got kind of like, it got kind of ratty and stuff.
Okay.
And people were into a lot of like stuff that was studio produced, and you know, soul led to you know, the soul music and the well produced songs that we've heard. Some of the things we listened to today actually gave us disco. Disco was, you know, kind of silly songs at times, but they were emotional love songs.
I like a lot
but
of
the
disco.
production value is off the charts.
Like crazy, phenomenal.
So they went for that. A lot of studio work, which was great. And it kind of hurt rock and roll in some ways, but rock and roll still survived. Rock and roll suffered the most in the 2010s, you know.
Yeah, hip hop started to emerge in the '80s as well.
Yeah, it was an underground cult thing there, but there was, you know, at that time they weren't singing a lot of love songs. Eventually they got more into soul, like soul and hip hop.
Yeah.
But in the early days it was like just, you know, turn over cars and burn shit in Detroit. You know?
Yeah, it was some of that, but it was also a lot of party music too.
It was like Walk This Way.
Yeah.
By Run DMC.
Yeah.
Everybody was having a good time.
And you were telling me earlier that kind of revived Aerosmith.
Yeah, it did actually. Aerosmith was down on their luck a little bit. They hadn't had any hit records for a while because they were part of more of a Journey hard rock type of a feel. Journey and what other bands that came out around that time, and rock was changing. You know, under the threat of you know, disco and stuff. You know, Fleetwood Mac was out. Even the Eagles. I mean, the Eagles have songs on
Hotel California is one of my favorite songs.
But there's songs on that record that are actually rock disco songs.
I believe that.
You know, it's like so everybody had to make a move to make some disco records, but love is the answer, like Todd Rundgren saying. These were these good old-fashioned soul songs, and they just say a lot. They're pop songs, but the magic's in the lyrics. You know, like
definitely
we're influenced by lyrics because we're humans. You know,
yeah.
We hear it affects our brains.
It stimulates the mind.
Yeah,
and music takes you to a certain place.
It does.
And when we listen to music that we haven't heard, and maybe music that we heard like 20 years ago, 10 years ago, it takes us back to that time. It transports us to that place and to those feelings. And those feelings were great times. I love it.
Yeah.
There's a definite spirituality to music that transcends a lot of things. Like the language of music, like you said, my friend, is a language of love. And it's universal. A good song is accepted by everybody, no matter what.
So everybody knows it, because the early era of MTV. And, a lot of those songs. Yeah.
Was that 80s? That was late 80s,
bit 90s
early
and stuff.
90s.
But MTV, the hits were on MTV. They weren't on the radio as much. And then from the MTV, they would go to the radio. You know, things always would shift a lot. But you know, like I remember, like I think it was early 90s. A band called Spandau Ballet had a song called Lady in Red, which we got to play. We got to play after this episode.
Yeah, that's another great song.
Just a great love song about a lady dressed in red, a mysterious song. Again, another music video on MTV, which ruled the airwaves at that time.
There was a lot of political songs in the late 80s.
What was the one
into
Genesis
the 90s.
did? What was the one? They had the giant puppets.
Land
of Confusion.
This is the land of confusion. Land of Confusion.
There's not enough love to go around.
Yes.
Tell me why. This is the land of confusion.
That song seemed like the puppet seemed a little bit creepy, but the song was so ahead of its time.
It really was.
It
those puppets are full scale.
I heard that.
They're as big as like 5'10".
I heard that. They had
Creepy.
Reagan in there. Nancy was in there.
Who else was in there? Was Gorbachev?
Gorbachev? Yeah.
Crazy shit. No, that was the era of a lot of radicalness going on. Phil Collins and Genesis. Phil gets he gets a lot of respect.
Phil's the man.
Phil's the man. Like I can't think of. He did some really great pop soul songs too. It's like she's an easy lover.
Oh, Easy Lover.
We gotta play that later.
Good, yeah.
Folks, we're gonna be jamming for another hour.
Definitely gonna be jamming.
But where would you be? Well, tell me some good love songs that you like that really stand out. Like, what did we play the other day that you really liked? It was
We played that Minnie Riperton.
Oh,
Minnie Riperton.
man,
That was
was she
phenomenal.
ahead of time?
Oh, she was ahead of her time. And when we listened to it, like I didn't notice, and you had pointed out that the lyrics were a little bit risque.
Well, it's a lot of free love going on. She's
A lot
talking
of
about
free
like,
love.
please come inside me if you
Yeah.
want to come inside me. It was a beautiful thing. Yeah, I mean, come on, Minnie, I love it.
Yeah, and you
People
had
weren't uptight about sexuality then.
Yeah, you have videos where women weren't taking off their clothes, but they were still sexy, and like because once again, and I'm biased to this because I grew up in the time. She had the big fro on the cover. She had the overalls, and she was holding the ice cream on the cover of the album, and she looked so sexy to me. I love that big fro. Like she just looked so
Minnie
sexy.
had a real big hit too. She did chart well a couple times.
Yeah, she she reminded me of like Donna Summers, who was kind of disco.
Yeah, did Minnie go disco a little bit?
Minnie went a little bit disco.
I remember
but
her
she
from
was
the
more
earlier
so.
era mostly, where she was.
How about Barry White? Rest in peace. He produced so many records.
He did. He was quite a guy. Yeah, he was. What a deep voice. Totally hauntingly sexual. Though he's sincere about it. He's not trying to be a dirty boy or anything.
Yeah.
But he's just so. Girls were dropping their drawers.
Such a powerful voice, and he wasn't. I don't know by any standards. Obviously, the women who dug him, but I don't know by any standards if he was considered like a sexy man traditionally.
I think he
probably had sex appeal.
But
Those
lyrics said he was a woman.
Yeah.
He could take care of a woman.
Yeah.
He would love a woman and make a woman feel special. Women need that security.
Yeah, he wrote, produced, arranged, and for not just himself, but so many other acts. It was awesome.
Yeah,
And obviously, we can't forget the king of pop, Michael Jackson.
Amazing.
Transitioning from the Jackson 5, going on his solo outing, and putting out solo records. That Thriller, which was, I don't know if it's still the biggest record, maybe not, but that was like such a transformational record. I knew these two guys.
By end of the rock guitar players, he did on like 3 or 4 in a row songs.
He pulled top level guys for that.
Level guys out there, man. I mean, who doesn't know?
Slash, he pulled for one of them songs.
Slash was on one of those. Just phenomenal. That's so sad too. Michael got so disrupted by all that shit because blows my mind.
On a different note, I knew 2 guys from Pakistan. I still know these guys. I see them from time to time, and they said we lived in a village that had no running water.
Yeah.
But we had cassette tapes and Michael Jackson's Thriller, and that just blew my mind. His record was that big. Remember, you used to see the videos where girls from around the world would just pass out. They had to have medics there to carry these girls off because they would pass out. Michael just get on stage and
yeah.
A line of women just fell out because there was so much power in these lyrics, in these tunes, in these melodies.
Do you remember like possibly on a rerun? Maybe you didn't see it new. Maybe you did see it new. Where there was the 25th anniversary of Motown. It was on ABC or NBC.
No, but I grew up listening.
Diana Ross actually introduced him.
Diana Ross.
Oh, Diana. River Deep, Mountain High.
Oh,
come
my
on
God.
now.
I feel that song in my bones.
Since you've been gone. All that's left is a band of gold.
Oh my! I'm getting chills thinking about that right now.
All the dreams I hold
Ooh.
in a band of gold.
Ooh.
Yeah, no doubt about it, man. Love her.
Think about every wedding you're playing music.
Every time.
How
But
popular
music's
is
a
the
stupid
DJ?
do the fucking horse, put your left foot in.
Okay.
White people just gotta chill out, man. A couple of years ago, I was shooting videos with a couple black friends of mine. We were doing like music videos and weddings.
Yeah.
Just to make a few bucks. It was something for a summer,
That's cool.
And whenever we did like black weddings, they were the most emotional, heartwarming. You felt the energy in your loins.
Yeah, we jam.
I'm
we
watching
party.
girls. I'm shooting girls with lenses. They're beautiful lenses, and I'm telling my buddy Cash Costner, call out for my buddy Cash.
Shout out to
Still
Cash.
working hard, real hard right now. In a lot of the local films as they come into Buffalo. Great gaffer. But anyway, after we took a break, and I said, Cash, I've never experienced anything in my life like this. I am totally in love with these black women, man. And usually, I'm kind of like not thinking of that stuff.
Yeah, you're on.
The music's playing. They're emotional. They're dancing and digging to the tunes.
Because that's the thing about music. It connects everybody.
It does.
You could be somewhere and the music comes on, everybody starts dancing. You have now become one tribe. We are now
it breaks
all
down the
one
bullshit.
tribe.
You're a tribe.
Yes,
that's the best way to sum it up. It really is.
It breaks down all the barriers, and there's something special about 80s. Has so many great soundtrack movies. Peter Gabriel. How about remember that time we went to?
Even the Bee Gees are cool.
Oh, I love Bee Gees.
I don't love all the Bee Gees, but I like the Bee Gees though.
Staying alive, staying alive.
That might not be my favorite era though. Just before they broke big, they were sort of doing a little bit of a funky kind of a sound before the Saturday Night Live record. But they all charted. But no, the production value on that record, Saturday Night Live, is off the fucking charts, man.
Oh yeah, no, it's definitely, and it's because of the movie with John Travolta. It holds such a special place in people's hearts that it'll never die.
No, it never will. I mean, people feel the same way about Saturday Night Live. I mean, excuse me, not Saturday Night Live, but the one where they're all 50s rockers with Olivia Newton-John. They're Grease.
Oh, Grease.
People are Grease crazy. My daughter and her friends will go downtown to catch Grease reenacted on a theater play.
I do like Grease. I've seen Grease in grade school and in high school, and I definitely enjoyed it. Yeah,
the lyrics are so special.
Not only is it a good story, but the lyrics are phenomenal, and the music, it's that timeless music. People were definitely in the 80s. People were making music. That evergreen music, that music that was gonna last, throughout lifetime. Stevie Wonder, stories. Elton John, we had powerhouses, Rocket Man is one of my favorite songs of all time. They're coming out with the movie. I think it's coming out.
I like Space Oddity by Bowie too. Another great pop song.
Bowie.
Or Heroes.
Bowie, he was such a progressive thinker, and with his showmanship. And his erogenous, just who are we listening to? Annie Lennox from Eurythmics. Yeah, definitely such good artists. I loved it. Smokey Robinson. I remember watching the Soul Train Awards. And Smokey came out. It was like 89, 88. Smokey came out with a smoking jacket. He looked so cool.
Marvin Gaye. Tears of a Clown.
Yeah. Oh my God, definitely. How much do you think of the 70s influenced the 80s?
Well, it was nonstop since the 60s. I mean, Soul knew it was going to be a force to reckon with in the 50s.
Okay.
And it really got its shit together in the 60s with, Tamla Records, Motown, Berry Gordy, and all the magic going on there.
Berry Gordy.
Yeah.
Imagine having all of that talent.
Oh, I know. Go Speaking of Berry Gordy and talent, did I ever tell you the story? Maybe I've already said this before.
I don't care. Tell me again.
Okay, Rare Earth, the band Rare Earth. They did, they did all these great songs. Well, they had a big hit with get ready, 'cause here I come on my way. Get ready. We played it a couple weeks ago. Maybe you forgot it, right? So these guys record this demo. And they sent it over to Berry Gordy and the guys in Detroit at Berry Gordy's place. And he says, "Love it, you guys are great. We're going to add you to the label." And these kids are all happy. They're doing this great soul music, right? So all of a sudden, one day happens. Boom! They're knocking on the door. Barry opens the door.
They're white guys.
Yeah. Barry opens the door. He goes, "Who are you guys?" He goes, "We're Rare Earth." He goes, "No, you're not." He goes, "No, you're not." He goes, "Yeah, we sent you a demo." He goes. He looks out the door. He puts his head left and right. You can imagine this, right? He goes, "All you guys got is a beat-up van and you're a bunch of white dudes in white jackets." He goes, "Yeah, but we're soulful. This is what we do." He goes, "All right, come on in, play some tunes. We'll see what we can do." Make a long story short, they get the contract. They get cut. They have some of the greatest hits on Motown. The only white band ever signed.
Only white band ever signed?
Only one. They've had some white musicians. Not that it really matters. But the in-house session guys, with the chugga, those kind of guys. They had a few white guys in there too that were session guys. Dude, great story.
Dude, I love that Blue Eyes. So like Hall and Oates that we were listening to.
Hall and Oates, Righteous Brothers.
Sarah Smile, like you told me. Sarah, you named your daughter.
Yeah, well, I have an aunt Sarah that I love her real lot. She's
that's awesome.
92 or so.
Shout out to Aunt Sarah.
Aunt Sarah. You know, I wanted to call my daughter Carmilla once, which is my grandmother's.
Okay.
Carmilla's a vampire from an old story
Okay.
in Europe by Sheridan LaFauna. Different story, but my grandmother was a Carmilla. She was a Sicilian, great little my first grandmother, not my great grandmother. And my wife thought the name was a little too old fashioned, so we went with the Sarah.
That's cool.
And Sarah was kind of getting popular at that time, you know.
I remember in the 80s, Bruce Springsteen, Born in America, and he, like, growing up in a black house, a traditional black house, and listening to, you know, the black music, Bruce Springsteen, Born in America, just not just because the...
Oh, you mean Born in the USA?
Born in the USA, excuse me. Born in the USA was such a great song. He was the first white artist that I really embraced personally as a kid, you know.
Keep listening to pop music.
Keep listening to all music because there's so much
the
magic
best thing
in the
for
music.
you.
And thank you everybody for listening to The Way In.
Thank you. We love you. They become clay. They start to melt like a wax candle because they don't know how to get their foot out of their mouth in this world we live in, which is all this bits of information. So it's bad. It's bad. I don't know where you could go with it.
There's huge saturation of people's lives. And nobody says that everybody that you see on TV, anybody that you see in movies, anybody that you see on the internet in some capacity is a role model.
Supposed to be.
Are they supposed to be?
Well, if you're that big, I think you're supposed to be. I mean,
you think it's an unspoken rule?
Yeah, because you like some of these girls have like a freaking 6 million followers and shit.
Yeah.
I mean, come on now. What are you talking about?
Yeah,
like,
you can't.
You can't. You are a role model. Do you like it or not?
True.
I mean,
True.
When you're smaller, it's good to be a role model because we try to be role models. You can say,
absolutely.
I try in my life. I know you do also. And I think we do it on a lesser level because this is what humans like to do. They like to be a role model for people. When you get really big and crazy, don't tell me like, I'm not a role model, I'm just a celebrity. No, that you are a role model. You're in my life every part of the day. Years ago, they used to argue that. Remember sports players? They used to say like, oh, I'm not a role model.
Yeah, I remember that.
But no, you're that big now, and you're making that much money, and you have that much exposure. And
celebrity and fame.
That's right. Kids are wearing your shirts and your sneakers.
Yes, they're idolizing you.
Oh, my God. Huge. It's part of your market. Like a lot of these guys can carry on their success after they're retired from any sporting event. So you end up playing for 7-8 years in the NBA or the hockey league or something. You know, if you have the right PR and you say the right things, you got another 15 years life.
That's true.
You could be on ESPN.
That's true. I didn't see your point, but you're definitely right. If you're that big in the social media landscape, then you are by choice of chosen profession now a role model.
Yeah,
because you're selling a brand.
You really are.